And we don't want to forget about food. Orange juice prices are also moving up. Traders are worried about damage to oranges in the state of Florida. Prices have jumped 19% just last year because of worries about a disease. And the storm is the latest threat to hit growers. Steve Mort has more.
For Florida's citrus growers, the cold isn't just uncomfortable, it's painful for their industry.
The citrus industry is the second largest economic driver in the state of Florida behind tourism.
Farmer Charles Roper, who owns 14 acres of citrus groves, says a burst of frigid weather makes for an uncertain season for his crops.
We've had bloom coming on and we get a little cold snap in. Of course, that affects the next year's production. You don't know whether the tree has enough energy to put on a second bloom.
And uncertain crops means economic uncertainty. There are nearly 70 million citrus trees in Florida, producing between 125 and 170 million boxes of fruit a year. Some of that is shipped to markets in Canada, France, the United Kingdom, and even Japan.
The perfect blend of sunshine, rain, and temperature.
The state produces about 70% of America's citrus, with 90% of Florida's citrus yield processed into juice. It's a $1.4 billion industry that's a juggernaut for the state's economy. It's also an industry highly dependent on weather. Temperatures here in Florida have plunged from near record highs just a few days ago to below freezing in many parts of the state. And it's that dramatic change that has many citrus growers worried. A hard freeze warning remains in place for parts of northern Florida Tuesday night into Wednesday.
The tree is not acclimated. It still has a lot of moisture up in the trunk, which if it gets cold enough and long enough, of course, that moisture expands and it will actually split the trunk of the tree. So having a warm period like we've had up into this and then get into some instantaneous cold from an Arctic blast coming down is one of the most worrisome things for the industry.
Fortunately, this cold snap will be short-lived for Florida's citrus-growing regions and should leave most trees unscathed. But growers predict they won't be so lucky if the state experiences another icy blast before winter's end. Steve Mort, CCTV, Orlando, Florida.